I'd like to call to order the council meeting Monday, November 13th, 2017, 7 p.m. Opening prayer, Reverend Tom Sebula, Walsh University Campus Ministry. Welcome, Reverend.
As we begin our council meeting tonight, let us take a moment to thank the Lord for this opportunity to be here this evening and pray that we work together towards the common good of our fair city and her citizens. Lord God, guide us so that we may be united in a spirit of mutual respect and civil discourse as we deliberate and debate the exchange of ideas, goals, and proposed legislation, not merely as individuals, but Lord, help us to realize that we are a community, a council of elected officials. Help us not forget for whom we do our business and legislate, the city of North Canton, and our fellow citizens whom we represent. Lord God, guide us to be good stewards of the office entrusted to us. Bless us as we gather here this evening. Send us your Spirit and be present among us in the voices of all who speak, in the ears of all who listen, and at the heart of all we say and do. Lord God, we pray that this meeting will be a most productive and successful meeting. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Clerk, please call the roll.
Soretta.
Here.
Foltz.
Here.
Fontaine.
Here.
Griffith.
Here.
Kiesling. Here. Peters.
Here.
And Waring. Here. 7 present, Mr. President.
All right, thank you for your consideration. Motion second to approve is presented. The council meeting minutes, October 23rd, 2017. Special Committee of the Whole meeting minutes, September 19th, October 23rd, and October 30th, 2017. Committee of the Whole meeting minutes, November 6th, 2017. Special Council meeting minutes, October 30th, 2017. And financial statements, October month-end reports.
Motion to approve as presented.
Second.
Foltz.
Yes.
Fontaine.
Yes.
Griffith.
Yes.
Kiesling. Yes. Peters.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
And Soretta.
Yes.
7 yes to approve the minutes and the report.
All right, thank you very much. Next up, we have a presentation by the Stark County Health Department, Paul DePasquale and Sue Seifert. Good evening.
I'm Sue Seifert. I'm one of the nurses at the Stark County Health Department. Working on my 25th year. Done pretty much all the programs there at some time or other, but I'm currently the immunization program coordinator there. And I also do the lead case management, lead poisoning case management for our county.
Thank you. Thank you, Sue.
Good evening. My name is Paul DePasquale. I'm the Director of Environmental Health for the Stark County Health Department. So if you're not quite sure what that is, the Health Department's hierarchy is the Health Commissioner, Director of Nursing, Director of Environmental Health, which is me, and then Director of Administration. So Sue and I come to you tonight. The Health Commissioner would like us to come out to our political subdivisions at least once a year, let you know a little bit about what we do in your community. We have a packet of information that I'll give to Mayor Held that you can disseminate. And of course, answer any questions you may have about the health department working in your community. Some of the things that we do, at least in environmental health, and Sue can speak for the nursing side. A lot of times we're in your community and you may not know when we're in there, but I want you to know we're out there working. Inspectors are here every day doing some type of inspection on food services, nuisances. We do have septics and wells still in North Canton City, so we have that program that we're constantly working at. So I have solid waste inspectors as well. So there's various things that we're working on. I know recently this year that I came to speak to all of you about a sewer line that I was encouraging you to install off of Everhard, and I worked with Councilman Fonte on that. So those are the kinds of issues that we work on every day, and I'll just, Sue, did you?
On the nursing side, we do a lot with communicable disease. As I said, immunizations. We actually have 26 programs, nursing programs, that touch your community here as well.
So I'll open it up then to, if you guys have any questions that you may have for us.
Yeah, just if I can make a comment real quick. When you look at municipalities, oftentimes you'll have, like the city of Canton, they have their own health department. And then the city of Massillon, they have their own health department. I believe also the city of Alliance, right? And,
That is correct.
and so what we elected to do here in North Canton was to, this was years ago, I think it's really since the city began, we would contract with the Stark County Health Department to provide us with the health department services. And so there's a number of different services that a health department provides. And you had mentioned like nuisances that pertain to environmental or health issues, you take care of those. And,
Correct.
and also the various nursing programs. But it's a great relationship for our city because we pay, I think it's about $100,000 a year. And so we get all the services whenever we have an issue or a challenge or a problem. We call the health department and they come out and provide those services.
Hey, Paul.
Yes.
So about, I don't know, several months ago, maybe it was in the summer, we met out at Orchard Acres, which is the, Rob's our new engineer, and we've been talking about this because what we're trying to do, and I know it's the area where we're trying to run it in, it's really deep, and we're trying to get the engineering correct to see if we can get a grant maybe in July to try to get maybe that first phase in there, but I know it's going to be expensive. And a lot of people don't realize, but there's like 50-some homes in there with all septic. And I know some of them are starting to fail, and if we don't figure it out, it's going to be super costly. Is there any special programs that you work with little communities? You can help us out a little bit on the money side of it, or is there any way the health department has anything special coming?
There is a grant program for low-income residents that need to repair their septic systems, but in that situation, there's a unique problem because I cannot use what's called an aeration system, which discharges to the storm sewer or another body of water. So I have to use a leaching system, and I don't have a lot of area in that particular area for a leaching system. Plus it's wet in that area and the soils are not very good. So your next option is to go to an aeration system, which is like a mini sewage plant on somebody's property. The problem in that area is we have no storm drain system or sewer system. So that's one of our difficulties using that. Probably we would have to go to like the county grant system and see if we can't get some with regional planning and what have you.
To me, I think it's just sort of missed that if you just put a new septic system in, I can understand not wanting to hook up, but
right.
I know that how critical it is that we need to figure something out. So hopefully we can continue down that path.
Yeah, I hope so.
Because I'd really like to get that at least linked in to start it. If we can't take it all the way through, just to have that option there. Because they don't even have storm sewer there either.
We can do our best. I mean, I know we worked originally on the Limaville project, and that was $0, and we ended up bringing in $1.75 million from the.
Could we consider that a hazard issue, like sort of a kind of like a mitigation, like we did with Silver Ditch? I mean, I wonder if there's some money out there because that would help if we had some extra dollars.
We can certainly, as your health department, assist you in anything possible to get those monies.
Okay, that would be my interest.
And usually what we do is we provide the data and the research when you write those types of grants. And so we do a large portion, we'll write a large portion of that for you about the health concerns of it.
Rob, so maybe that would be something to look at?
Yeah, certainly.
Because he knows it from the health standard, maybe we can get help that way.
Okay.
Yeah, we're willing to assist you in any way we can.
And then once we come up with a plan for the area, I think the area does qualify for community development block grant funds. It is an LMI area through Lynn Carlone's program at Regional Planning.
Yeah, let us know if there's
That's
anything
one.
that
And
we
we'll
can
fund it
do.
100%. We might get 180,000 or so out of it. So that just helps.
Yeah, thanks, Paul.
Sure. Yes.
Just another, just so you know, the health department, they've kept their prices stable. I don't know how many years in a row, but it's been quite a few. And, you know, Commissioner Norris and yourself have done a good job on that. And, you know, we appreciate that. We talk about money a lot up here, but this is one issue that, you know, they haven't raised the price on us for several years.
I think it's been 8 years since we've asked for an increase from our political subdivisions across the county. And there's 17 townships, 3 cities, and numerous villages. So it's been 8 years.
And
We appreciate it.
one other item to just add, they do have the Board of Health, so the Stark County Health Commissioner, Kirk Norris, he reports to the Board of Health, and there's 8
Correct.
members there. And so we, as the city, have a representative who is the attorney, Terry Seaberger.
Yes.
And so he served, you know, he was appointed to that position. And we have one of our council members,
Yep.
Marcia Kiesling, also served as a board member. Yeah, yeah. And so, you know, the health department provides a lot of different services, but oftentimes, unless you know, run into a particular issue, you know, you might not have regular contact with them. But if we do,
Yeah, give me a call or of course, Commissioner Norris is always available. Yes.
Do you have, last week I heard a presentation, but it was Canton, and it was the recycling department, which
Yeah.
actually, they mentioned you, Dave, because they had cut a person, right, to save costs, but they weren't really saving costs, and then all of a sudden, you wouldn't think that would fall under the health department, but if all of a sudden there's all these tires everywhere, then you have mosquitoes, and it was really bad. So now they have this new place, where I can't remember the amount of tires they collected, but it was amazing, along with
Yeah.
other things.
Yeah, recycling is handled a little different within the city limits. Being a county health jurisdiction, your recycling happens within the townships.
Okay.
And then Mayor Held also works with that, with the
yeah, the solid waste.
solid waste
Yeah, that's what
district.
we started.
So there's kind of like a multi-jurisdictional
That's why
overlap.
I wondered, yeah.
So at the solid waste district, we provide programs so that municipalities, when you collect junk tires,
Yeah.
you know, like the city of North Canton, the various townships, they can call the solid waste district, and you can take a truckload of tires down to Liberty Tire, where they grind them up and, you know, reuse them. But that's a tire disposal facility. Now, the health departments,
We work a different
they're
program.
committed to cleaning up dump sites of 100 tires or more, right?
That's correct.
And, well, really,
There's Ohio Environmental Protection Agency money that we use to clean up sites larger than 100. We've just cleaned up a 75,000 tire site recently. And we should produce the before and after pictures. I mean, it wasn't in North Canton City's jurisdiction, but it was in the county. But yeah, we just worked on one of those, and all the tires went to Liberty down in Minerva.
and they've done studies too, where if you extract so many tires in a particular area, that you can see the amount of mosquito activity decrease.
Wow.
So they did that, I know, in the city of Canton here recently, where they had targeted areas and they set up the little boxes, right, the mosquito
Yep.
boxes, and then you can measure, you know, the activity or the number of mosquitoes that are growing in a particular area, right?
Yeah, mosquitoes are interesting. I know that you guys spray here in the city, but your county health department does all the surveillance. We do the trapping, we do the identifying of the mosquito. We send the mosquitoes down to the Ohio Department of Health to detect for West Nile virus or not. And we do all of that for your jurisdiction, even though you guys do your own spraying. We also do some larviciding in your area, so that's just one program.
And the rabies, if you have.
Rabies, that's a whole other another program that we do, but yeah,
Paul, is there anything coming, like, you know, some kind of swine flu or anything we're worried about here in
God, I hope
County?
not. No,
How
not
about
that I'm
stink
aware
bugs?
of.
You do anything about stink bugs?
Yeah.
There's no hidden virus that I am aware of. No.
But yeah, I just wanted to know if there's anything coming that we need to be alerted on.
No, but your health department
Just
does
get that
alert
done.
you when we do have
No, I'm
situations.
kidding. Don't put stink bugs.
Well, thanks.
Never know.
You know, one other item too is when they had the Ebola concerns over at the high school, the health department assisted, you know, and guided the North Canton City schools through that also.
Yeah, absolutely.
They provide really anything that has to do with health or the environment. They're available and they provide excellent service. And also, you folks were recently accredited, right?
That's correct.
That's right. They put a lot of work into it. So you had, is it a statewide or national
Well,
accreditation?
it's a national accreditation. We're one of 169 health departments in the nation that's accredited. We're the 17th in Ohio and the 1st in Stark County.
That's great.
So what that should help us do is get more grant money down the road. Also, it secures our health district with state and federal monies for now and moving forward.
Yeah, and there was a lot of
Because Governor Kasich has said that you have to be accredited by 2020. And if you're not accredited by 2020, you possibly could lose your state and federal money.
Yeah. Well, we could use that extra help.
Yeah.
For sure.
All right.
Paul, I have a question for you. If we had a resident or multiple residents within the city of North Canton that, say for example, didn't have running water and hasn't had running water for quite some time and might be living in some conditions that could be a danger to themselves, what is your jurisdiction? What can you do in instances such as that?
It falls under our nuisance program, and it also falls under, there's administrative code for general public health nuisance that it falls under. There's also a landlord-tenant act type information that comes in there. But primarily, if that came across as a complaint, we would first look at it as a public health nuisance and order the homeowner or the landlord to fix it. And if that doesn't happen, we have our own prosecutor assigned to our department where we can do different things in the courts if we feel that it's an impact to public health and safety.
And if the resident didn't fix it and there are some circumstances that he might need, say, an advocate, would you guys be able to?
Yeah, it all depends. Every case is different. But if it's their own home, it's a different ballgame. Yeah. And then there might be children in the house, or there might be an adult. So there are other circumstances that come to play in to a situation such as what you're talking about. If there was children in the house, then we would call child services at the beginning because they might be in danger. And then there's a whole different set of circumstances to every case, but there is something we can do, and I'd say start it as a complaint at the health department, and then we'll take it from there. And if we need to refer it out to different agencies, we do that.
That's a valuable service. Thank you.
All right. Any other questions for Paul or Sue?
Okay, thanks for your service.
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Hey, Paul, you have an extra one
Thank
of
you,
those?
sir.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming up.
Do you have an extra one? I'll take the handshake too. Crushing.
Thanks, guys.
Thank you very much.
Have a great night. You too.
Thank you.
All right, very good. At this time, if you wish to address council, please step forward, state your name and address.
Chuck Osborne, 307 Fairview Street, Southeast, North Canton, Ohio. It's kind of disappointing that I didn't hear any discussions or topics about the most impactful health crisis here in North Canton, and that's the Superfund site you have right across the street. I believe it's 2003, the Stark County Health Department, which is, gentleman might have been able to elaborate a little bit on, issued a no drill order because the groundwater all around there, underneath the Hoover property and extending all the way to Hillcrest and north to 5th Street, is highly polluted. That's a major impediment to the development of the Hoover district, which I think will ultimately fail. I know everybody keeps putting all their eggs in that basket, but I would like to have seen some questions about that. A number of years ago, let's see, this is 17, I think back around 2008, this body disbanded its swap committee because they wanted to open up and discuss the toxic underground water system. I have a gentleman here who offered to provide model legislation. He's from Mountain View, California, and they see these kind of issues on a daily basis because they're just inundated with Superfund sites that are in their community. As representatives of the community here, you people should be representing these city communities, these properties around here, and there should be ongoing monitoring. Has this situation leveled off? Has it increased in severity? Is it diminished? Why do you think Panera Bread did not locate over there? We're not only talking about water pollution, we're talking about air pollution. I'm sure that's added a few $1 million to the development cost of those apartments, which you probably won't see available for rent for a number of years. Because we all know Mr. Lickner has got all his eggs in the Hall of Fame. Another doomed venture for this area. People who have money know how to take advantage of individuals who are in the desert dying of thirst. They'll agree to anything. And this is what you have going on across the street. This is what you have going on with the Hall of Fame. So it would have been nice to see some questions about and concerns about the indoor air quality of all these homes, whether that groundwater restrictions still should remain in place. But there's been a concerted effort in this city to not talk about that. And a perfect example is when you disbanded the swap committee. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Anyone else wishing to address council? No?
Good evening, Melanie J. Roll, 308 Cordy Street, Northwest. I have two questions for you this evening, and perhaps you can answer them or address them at the report section at the end of the meeting. Primarily, the questions are addressed to Mr. Grimes, Ms. Brown, Mr. Fox, and Mr. Serrata. It has to do with the water board, and I'm asking if the water board has had a meeting since the legislation, or I'll just say recently. Has the water board met? And if they have met, has there been an agreement between the city and any business entity? This is done in private. I'm not sure why. I'd like to know if there's been any meeting recently. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Anyone else wishing to address council, please step forward, state your name and address. Okay. Moving on to old business. I have a motion and a second to read by title only the third reading of ordinance number 89-17.
Jeff, I need this.
Oh, yeah, I'm sorry, Dan.
So moved.
Second.
Yeah. We have a motion and a second. Let the record reflect members Griffith and Kiesling have stepped out.
Fontaine,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Surratt,
Yes.
and Folds.
Yes.
5 yes to read by title only the third reading of ordinance number 89, 2017, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of North Canton upon concurrence of council and the Board of Control to enter into a contract for administering a self-insured health insurance program for city employees for the period of December 1st, 2017 through November 30th, 2018.
Okay, this is the third reading. We've discussed this. Are there any questions? Finance Director Brown, anything more to add?
No, sir.
I'll entertain a motion and a second to.
Motion to approve.
Second.
Peters,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Surratt,
Yes.
Folds,
Yes.
Fontaine.
Yes.
5 yes to adopt the third reading of ordinance number 89, 2017.
All right, thank you very much. You guys come on. All right. May I have a motion and a second to read by title only the third reading of resolution number 9-17.
So moved. Second.
Waring,
Yes.
Surratt,
Yes.
Folds,
Yes.
Fontaine,
Yes.
Griffith,
Yes.
Kiesling,
Yes.
and Peters.
Yes.
7 yes to read by title only the third reading of resolution 9, 2017, a resolution requesting the Planning Commission consider recommending to City Council implementation of the Main Street Business District on Main Street from Orion Street to Everhard Road to maintain and promote the central portion of Main Street as a core area for the retail sales and service.
Thank you. Chairwoman Kiesling.
I think it's just as it's stated. We're going to send it over to planning, let them discuss it, have their public hearing, send it back to us, have a public hearing, discuss it, move forward. I motion we adopt.
Second.
Thanks, Don.
Surratt,
Yes.
Folds,
Yes.
Fontaine,
Yes.
Griffith,
Yes.
Kiesling,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
and Waring.
Yes.
7 yes to adopt the third reading of resolution 9, 2017.
All right, thank you. I have a motion and a second to read by title only the second reading of ordinance number 90-17.
So moved.
Second.
Folds,
Yes.
Fontaine,
Yes.
Griffith,
Yes.
Kiesling,
Yes.
Peters,
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
and Surratt.
Yes.
7 yes to read by title only the second reading of ordinance number 90, 2017, an ordinance authorizing the mayor of the city of North Canton upon Board of Control approval to enter into a supplemental sewer agreement by and between the city of North Canton and the city of Canton for the sludge processing modifications project located at the Canton's water reclamation facility.
Thank you. Chairman Surratt.
Yes, so discuss this. This is Canton Sewer sludge processing modification project, and we're part of that, so this is part of the agreement. So I move that we go ahead and approve it in the second reading.
Second.
Fontaine?
Yes.
Griffith?
Yes.
Kiesling?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Waring?
Yes.
Surratt?
Yes.
And Folds?
Yes.
7 yes to adopt the second reading of ordinance number 90, 2017.
Thank you. I have a motion and a second to read by title only the first reading of ordinance number 92-17.
So moved.
Second.
Griffith?
Yes.
Kiesling?
Yes.
Peters?
Yes.
Waring?
Yes.
Surratt?
Yes.
Folds?
Yes.
Fontaine?
Yes.
7 yes to read by title only the first reading of ordinance number 92, 2017, an ordinance to make appropriations for certain expenses and other expenditures of the city of North Canton, Ohio for the period beginning January 1st, 2018 and ending December 31st, 2018, and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Thank you. Chairman Griffith.
This is, of course, the budget. Again, a big thank you to everybody for all the time and work in going through the process. I appreciate everybody getting it done. There were two minor amendments to the proposed legislation from what we discussed during the longer meeting. One was line 101, 619, 5500, which is the Director of Administration equipment request that went from 3,300 to 5,300, so a $2,000 increase, which was not substantial. And the second was an adjustment to 101, 308, 5216, which is in the swimming pool area. It was 11,000 and was moved to 13,000. Both of those, I think, were over equipment requests that were adjusted appropriately.
Yes, one was a typo and one was just something that got overlooked.
Well, I didn't want to call you out.
I'll admit it.
Very good. Well, so are there any additional questions or concerns relative to the budget?
Thanks for your work on this.
Yeah. I would move its approval.
Second.
Keesling,
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Surratt.
Yes.
Folds.
Yes.
Fontaine.
Yes.
And Griffith.
Yes.
7 yes to adopt the first reading of ordinance number 92, 2017.
Thank you. We have a motion and a second to read by title only the first reading of ordinance number 93-17.
So moved.
Second.
Peters.
Yes.
Waring,
Yes.
Surratt.
Yes.
Folds.
Yes.
Fontaine.
Yes.
Griffith.
Yes.
And Keesling.
Yes.
7 yes to read by title only the first reading of ordinance number 93, 2017, an ordinance amending chapter 1701, minimum housing code, specifically subsection 1701.03D and 1, notice of violation of the codified ordinances of the city of North Canton, and declaring the same to be an emergency.
Thank you, Chairwoman Ware.
Yeah, we talked about this last week, and it came about because of a house that didn't have, is it heat? Heat, which obviously can happen a lot when they turn on their heating systems, but just allows some flexibility as far as the notice and time of how quickly they can make that happen. And it refers to the heat, the water, and the core elements of the house. So are there any other questions? Okay, we'll move to adopt.
This is a special thanks to Tim for this great
Yeah.
work and great catch.
We moved it along very quickly, so
Yes,
thank you. And the landlord tried to remedy the situation as quick as he could too. But it just kind of made us aware of a situation that could happen if a landlord wasn't so timely.
Correct.
Okay, so I move to adopt.
Second.
That's what I like, cooperative.
Waring,
Yes.
Surratt.
Yes.
Folds.
Yes.
Fontaine.
Yes.
Griffith.
Yes.
Keesling.
Yes.
And Peters.
Yes.
7 yes to adopt the first reading of ordinance number 93, 2017.
Thank you. Motion and a second to suspend the rules of council for 3 readings for ordinance number 93-17.
So moved.
Second.
Surratt.
Yes.
Folds.
Yes.
Fontaine.
Yes.
Griffith.
Yes.
Keesling.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
And Waring.
Yes.
7 yes to suspend the rules of council for 3 readings for ordinance number 93, 2017.
Thank you. And a motion and a second to adopt under suspension of the rules ordinance number 93-17.
So moved.
Second.
Folds.
Yes.
Fontaine.
Yes.
Griffith.
Yes.
Keesling.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
And Surratt.
Yes.
7 yes to adopt under suspension of the rules for ordinance number 93, 2017.
Thank you. Motion and a second to read by title only the first reading of ordinance number 94-17.
I need to excuse myself.
Oh, yes.
So moved.
Second.
Yep. Sorry about that. Let the record reflect Member Griffith has stepped out.
Fontaine.
Yes.
Keesling.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Surratt.
Yes.
And Folds.
Yes.
6 yes to read by title only the first reading of ordinance number 94, 2017, an ordinance authorizing a director of administration of the city of North Canton to request quotes for insurance, including but not limited to general liability, personal insurance liability, automobile, building and contents, equipment floater, crime, boiler and machinery, and firemen's errors and omissions insurance according to specifications on file in the Office of the Director of Administration, and for the mayor to be authorized upon Board of Control approval to enter into contracts for the policies.
I'll say that title is pretty specific.
Yeah, I don't think we need to discuss it.
All right, so I'll entertain a motion and a second to adopt the...
Motion to adopt first reading.
Yes.
Second.
Kiesling.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Surratt.
Yes.
Folds.
Yes.
Fonte.
Yes.
6 yes to adopt the first reading of ordinance number 94, 2017.
All right, thank you very much. Now may I have a motion and a second to read by title only the first reading of ordinance number 95-17.
So moved.
Second.
Peters.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Surratt.
Yes.
Folds.
Yes.
Fonte.
Yes.
Griffith.
Yes.
And Kiesling.
Yes.
7 yes to read by title only the first reading of ordinance number 95, 2017, an ordinance authorizing the supplemental appropriation of funds of the city of North Canton to be appropriated from the unappropriated resources of the capital improvement fund to the equipment account in the total amount of $19,000 for the current expenses during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2017.
Thank you, Chairman Griffith.
This is, as we discussed last week, for an emergency request for the generator over at the EMS place. Appreciate the research done there and getting one that was both necessary and inexpensive. Any questions? I'd move its approval.
Second.
Waring.
Yes.
Surratt.
Yes.
Folds.
Yes.
Fonte.
Yes.
Griffith.
Yes.
Kiesling.
Yes.
And Peters.
Yes.
7 yes to adopt the first reading of ordinance number 95, 2017.
Thank you. Motion and a second to suspend the rules of council for 3 readings for ordinance number 95-17.
So moved.
Second.
Surratt.
Yes.
Folds.
Yes.
Fonte.
Yes.
Griffith.
Yes.
Kiesling.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
And Waring.
Yes.
7 yes to suspend the rules of council for 3 readings for ordinance number 95, 2017.
Thank you. Motion and a second to adopt under suspension of the rules ordinance number 95-17.
So moved.
Second.
Folds.
Yes.
Fonte.
Yes.
Griffith.
Yes.
Kiesling.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
And Surratt.
Yes.
7 yes to adopt under suspension of the rules for ordinance number 95, 2017.
All right, thank you. May I have a motion and a second to read by title only the first reading of resolution number 12-17.
So moved.
Second.
Fonte.
Yes.
Griffith.
Yes.
Kiesling.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Surratt.
Yes.
And Folds.
Yes.
7 yes to read by title only the first reading of Resolution 12, 2017, a resolution authorizing the mayor of the city of North Canton to enter into a memorandum of understanding MOU by and between the city of North Canton Police Department and the Stark County Sheriff's Office to support the Stark County OVI Task Force and declaring the same to be an emergency.
It's an appropriation. Yeah.
Okay, this is a continuation of the OVI, or the Memorandum of Understanding between us and the Stark County Sheriffs. There has been no changes to an otherwise successful program. If there's no questions, I entertain a motion to adopt the first reading.
So moved.
Second.
Griffith.
Yes.
Kiesling.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Surratt.
Yes.
Folds.
Yes.
Fonte.
Yes.
7 yes to adopt the first reading of Resolution 12, 2017.
Yes, motion is second to suspend the rules of council for 3 readings for resolution number 12-17.
So moved.
Second.
Kiesling.
Yes.
Peters.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Surratt.
Yes.
Folds.
Yes.
Fonte.
Yes.
And Griffith.
Yes.
7 yes to suspend the rules of council for 3 readings for Resolution 12, 2017.
All right, finally, a motion and a second to adopt under suspension of the rules, resolution number 12-17.
So moved.
Second.
Peters.
Yes.
Waring.
Yes.
Surratt.
Yes.
Folds.
Yes.
Fonte.
Yes.
Griffith.
Yes.
And Kiesling.
Yes.
7 yes to adopt under suspension of the rules for Resolution 12, 2017.
All right, thank you. Okay, reports. Member Fonte.
I'd just like to say thanks for all the voters that voted me in for another term. I'm looking forward to working with all the council members, including Mr. Revolt. And The other thing is, looking forward to serving the residents. And the final thing is, I was wondering, since the school levy didn't pass, by 68% against, I was hoping maybe somebody could reach out to the school, see if we can put our heads together, come up with a more practical plan to solve that problem. So that's just something to think about. That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Member Ware?
Thanks. I echo Dominic's sentiments, and thrilled to be back in and work with everybody. I think we had great momentum and a lot of good things move forward, and very humbled to be here again, so thank you.
Member Keesley?
Same thing, very excited to be back for my 8th term. I know Doug's been here longer than me.
Shows.
Yeah, exactly,
Yes.
exactly.
No.
How many terms, Doug?
It's like dog years.
40.
Is it 9 terms? Are you
He's a
9
couple
terms?
terms ahead.
That's right.
47 terms.
12th term?
They should put term limits out, I tell you.
Wow.
Well,
Yeah. No report otherwise, thanks.
Member Griffith?
No report.
Member Surratt?
a couple things. I've already reached out to Wendorf, by the way, on our behalf to as we move forward, if they need us. A couple things. We had a Veterans Day thing. I think it went really well. Dave did a nice job, along with Jeff Wendorf and Bob Roden, who read some really nice letters from school. I don't know if they were seniors or whatever. They were school personnel over there. Really well done, but it was colder than you know what over there.
Yes, it was cold.
But it was really well done, and that's the kind of thing we should continue to do every year. So I hope that continues. And I mentioned this in brief here, is that we've got a good donation for more bulbs for the Christmas tree. Always like to recognize donations, about $500 more for new bulbs that kind of dress it up a little more. We got some consultings from the people we bought the tree from, and those folks, I want to be sure to mention them. There's the Taylor family, the Warburton family, the Matthew family, and the Esmond family. I'll put into raise enough money for that this time through. And we'll need more as that goes down, and people like that are always standing by to add into those kind of things, and that's what makes us a really strong community. Outside of that, that's it. No other report.
Thank you. Member Foltz?
Thank you. Yeah, congratulations on everybody that won. Dan, you will be missed. We'll have another meeting with you, but you've worked very hard up here. We appreciate your efforts, and you're just a good guy, and best of luck to you in the future. Who knows what that'll hold, but hopefully you can come back one day. But you do a lot for our community, that's for sure. Appreciate it. Thanks, Member Strutter, for reaching out to school. I think it's important that collectively we all come together and do what's in the best interest of the school and the city and the community overall. The voters have spoken, but let's not forget that the school has their own needs. Obviously, they've got great teachers that haven't had a raise in a very long time. They have infrastructure problems that we need to address, and it's better if we all work collectively towards those goals than not working together. So hopefully there's an open communication process, not that there wasn't before, but hopefully we can all rally and get it right the next time, because I think there absolutely will need to be a next time for this community. So if we all work towards the same goals, I know that it will be supported and it will be passed. So that's a critical thing for our for our city. Obviously, the schools are a great part of that. Lastly, is there a way to get, this is to Director Grimes or Mayor Helm, a list of everybody that's retired this year? I think we should do something, either bring them up or read their name in the record. I can't keep track of all the departments, but I know we do a great job of recognizing those that are hired and are promoted. Dave, you do a great job with that. It's usually before our meetings. But I also think there needs to be an acknowledgement of those that have served, our city and our community for years.
Along with that, maybe some anniversary dates, so we know how many people have been here very long. That's a great idea.
Either put it in the newsletter, but I'd welcome to come up here or just have an event for them, because
just acknowledge that.
Just acknowledge them, because when you donate or devote 30 years of your life, 35, whatever it is, sometimes it just kind of goes, and it's not really fully acknowledged by the community, and I think that they're very deserving of that. And I know we have a lot of volunteers, even our fire department, EMS, police. So if we could get that together, maybe it's something we should do annually. Dave, Mayor Hill, is something that I'd like to see part of. Even up here, we used to have a holiday party, get them together there, at least some acknowledgement, some public acknowledgement. I'd appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay?
Good idea.
All right. Thank you. Those are my comments.
All right, thank you. Also like to thank Member Stretta for reaching out to Superintendent Wendorf. I think we've got a great opportunity to find some common ground and work together with the schools. And we have one of our newest school board members in the audience tonight, Jessica Stroya. So we look forward to working with her as well. And congratulations on your election. We look forward to that, and we also look forward to renewing the efforts to make things happen across the street. And I know the mayor is working on that, and we're excited what that holds for us. So, all right, Director of Law, report.
Yes, I met Dan Griffith as about 2002. Still in the Air Force. I was a visiting friend and had some interest in attending law school. I said, why don't you come with me and I'll walk you through our law firm, you'll meet some people, we'll go have lunch and ask all the questions you want. And so this was about 15 years ago. And he had said, let's grab a new associate that we have and we'll bring him along. Really bright young man, you'll like him. And Dan Griffith. So imagine Dan appearing 15 years younger than he does right now. And ultimately, I went to law school, graduated, and actually started working at that firm. And one of the first things I remember about Dan is how many people Dan knows and knows Dan. And there was an event, it was the Canton Chamber of Commerce. They were having their annual event, and I was kind of paired with Dan. And Dan was walking me around through really large banquet room, and just time and again, Dan would introduce me to this person. Tim, this is Tom Smith. He works in the engineering department in the city of Canton, does this. Tim Fox, he's an associate here. And each time he would walk me around, he would introduce me and tell me the name of the person and what they did. And we worked just through the room. He was introducing me to one person after the other. And then he introduced me to a person, and he didn't say what this person did. So I was somewhat new to the area, living in North Canton, but working in Canton. And he said, introduced this person, and he had given me her name, but he didn't say what she did. And so I had said, and what do you do, Janet? And she said, well, I'm the mayor of the city of Canton. And of course, everyone burst out into laughter. We're attending the chamber annual event, and I didn't recognize the mayor, but as a new associate there, of course, I'm overwhelmed with the workload and all the other things that we had to do. But it was terrific fun, and it really showed, Dan's involvement in the community. This was in probably 2007, something like that he had done that. But absolutely was a mentor and a great example to follow. We actually began as council members at the same time. We ran together and were council members 2011. And so it certainly is with regret that we say goodbye to Dan, but I certain that he's going to continue to be involved in different ways in our community, and I look forward to working with him in those endeavors. So thanks for what you've done, certainly up to this point, and what you will do in the future.
We echo that.
Very well, sir.
Director Brown.
Boy, that's a tough act to follow, sir. Well,
He's
I'll
got
just-
another meeting. Do you have
I'll wait till the next meeting. I'll go ahead and answer Melanie's question that you asked earlier. We have not met as a water board recently. I would have to go back to my office and check the date, but the last time we met was to review a resident letter that had high usage on a water bill. And that's been, I think, several months since the water board has met, so you're welcome. And then for my report tonight, I have a couple income tax related things. One is we had our RETA subpoena day here on Friday. We had 86 individuals come into this room and get their back taxes filed, which is great. We had one individual that came in earlier in the week and met with us here, and he got filed online, and he more than paid for the program. Just one individual that had 4 years of filings and was a very high earner. So I'll get some numbers from Rita in coming weeks as far as the rest of those folks that filed. We had well over 100 with the ones that had been dropped off. But that's extra revenue to the city.
Well, I appreciate you allowing me to come in early.
Not no problem. I wasn't going to bring it up, but you know, since you had to spill the beans. So that was a very successful program. Also on the income tax topic, some of you may have read in the repository yesterday about some other cities that are joining in with a lawsuit against the state for some changes that the state made in the budget bill. North Canton is not part of that lawsuit currently, but because we're a RETA member city, RETA is considering a separate lawsuit against the state. They've hired outside counsel. I talked to them today, and they said there's kind of two different strategies going on, and you know they'll keep me up to date on any of that.
All right. Very good. Thank you. Director of Administration.
Yeah, Councilman Griffith, I too want to thank him for his hard work, and it's kind of the non-sexy stuff that you come in on your own time, but it's usually budget and bonds, and that's when we see you around, and it's been a good help, and that's why our budget talks, when we have them, goes through pretty good. We always have you around for that council. You stop in, and you know, whenever we need you, so we do appreciate that. So, and you are an expert in that field, and we appreciate it. So.
I've been described as non-sexy many times.
Yes. The second thing is
right there, because you roast yourself.
Yeah.
That's what's good.
And it will be on the record for 100 years now. So, you know. The second thing, Council President, what you were alluding to about the water in the homes, I have asked Chief Building Official John Steigel and his nuisance officer to collect 3 particular reports that we're interested in. We're going to go over them by the end of next week, see if we've got enough. I'm going to approach it like a criminal investigation to see if we got enough for the investigation, and then we will go talk to Paul and see what they can do for us from there, and see what they will or will not do from that. And the big thing there is they do have a prosecutor, you know, that dwells solely in that, so that would be a big help to us in that. So.
Outstanding. Thank you, Mike.
And the third thing, I let most of you know by now, I will be leaving the team. My last day on the books will be January the 8th, and I wanted to, you know, publicly thank Mayor Held for allowing me to, you know, work for him and be on the team. That's been a pleasure. I want to thank City Council members that approved me for being the Director of Administration at the time, and of course, I want to thank City Council here for putting up with me and, you know, allowing me to work for you. And of course, I want to thank the department supervisors. I mean, they're top notch, and our employees, and they have the right attitude. Not only are they skilled, they have the skill set for what they do, but they have the right attitude. And speaking of attitude, I want to thank our residents, because I am one public employee that is grateful for being employed here. So they've allowed me to be employed here since 1978, and I am grateful for that, and I appreciate it. And thank you.
Thank you, too. How many years total have you put in?
39 plus.
Jeez.
Well, we thank you for your service.
Are you going away in January? Are you going somewhere warmer?
Pardon?
Are you going somewhere warmer in January?
No.
Okay.
Well, I shouldn't say that. My wife wants me to, but I'll be unemployed in case somebody wants to hire me.
Right.
You've been here before.
Yeah.
You need to retire, Mike.
Yeah.
Enjoy it.
Thank you. Yeah, you're in shape.
Congrats,
now.
Mike.
Enjoy it.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor?
Yes, Mike had shared with me that he was going to be retiring, and he's not leaving this week. So, you know, we're going to have him until the end of the year. And we will definitely have a recognition for Mike when he leaves. And we do that with the other employees too, but it usually happens during the day, but I think it would be a good thing to have it publicly at a council meeting.
Yeah.
You know, what I've found is that what we've seen over the years is when people are ready to retire, it's like all of a sudden they don't want anything. They don't want a cake. They don't. And I think it's because, you know, it's usually because, you know, you spend so much of your life at a particular location that it's hard to go through that. So, you know, typically Mike would, when people would retire, we would still facilitate you know, a cake and an acknowledgement and a gathering for each one of, I think every employee would say they don't want anything, you know. But, so I'm not going to get into everything as far as Mike because, you know, he came along at a period of time when we really needed somebody to lead as the administrator. He's been a great friend. He's been a great administrator, a great police chief. And Mike really served as the mentor to me from a leadership perspective. So that just gives you an idea of how I feel about Mike. Because back when I was the administrator, I was 36 years old. There's just a lot of things that I did not know. Still a lot of things I don't know. And, but I would always go down to Mike's office and say, what do you think about this? Or what do you think about how we should handle that situation? And so that's really where Mike has provided the greatest benefit, not only to the city, but to myself. And then it continued here with, as I began serving as mayor. But I'll be able to cover more of that when you do officially retire, which I think is beginning of January, right?
Correct.
Yeah. And Mike, of course, is always available too to bust my chops, whether I like it or not. And he has a way of doing it where I think he's serious, and now he's got Patrick onto it too. It makes it worse when you're campaigning, and because your stress level's even higher. But that's transitioning into that other item. Anybody that is in this room that has ran for public office, whether you've won or lost, and I have won and lost myself, the requirement to put your name out there to the public and to run on issues and to serve the public, you know, you have to be a special person to be able to do that because it is not easy. It's not an easy thing, and you know, the pay that you get, whether you're on a city council or the mayor's position or a school board member, you know, you're not doing it for the money. You're doing it because you really have a desire to serve the community, to serve other people. And so with that, Dan, you and I have developed a great friendship. And Dan is another person that always manages to have a nice sense of humor, but he uses the humor that has a tendency to catch me off guard also, because I'm like, are you serious about that? And then, of course, it's so outlandish that he had to be joking, right? But he manages to do that, and even on election night, I think this is a reflection of Dan's character, is he gets, you know, he's the one that did not have the outcome in the election the way that he wanted, and he's getting me and other people to laugh, you know, and that's what I appreciate most about you, because we've been through a lot here with the city, with the budget. I remember actually the first time you and I went through the budget forecast with Laura, when we hired her back when she was working for the state. And to give you an idea of the relationship that Dan and I had, we went through a 3-hour meeting and my head was spinning. And we were talking about numbers and budgets, and I was like, oh my gosh, you know, did we really accomplish what we set out to do? And at the end of the meeting, Dan was as refreshed as could be, and he goes, wasn't that a fantastic meeting? That was great. And I was like, was it? I was like, wow. But he just has, you have a lot of energy, and the work that you've done with our budget, with our bonds, and with the city, most people will not ever understand the work that you've done, but it was incredible. But everybody's going to benefit from it. And so with that, I'm hoping, as I already mentioned to you, I'd love to get you serving on some of our boards. But I know you have a restriction as far as work. So you still have one slot open to serve on another board, right? So yeah, I didn't forget that. So we want to recruit you to continue serving the city. But you've been a great friend. You are a class act, and you do have an excellent sense of humor, along with that hard work. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, Mayor. Engineer Grimm.
Thank you, Mr. President. Just a couple quick things. First, our Everhard Road water line improvement. You've probably seen the work these last couple of weeks on Everhard Road. Working the eastern portion inside the city, and it's going really well. I mean, it's going to be a tough project, but it's going real well. Later this week, they're going to start out on the western portion in the township, out in front of Bravo's. Hopefully that goes as well too. Got all our permits in a row, and just got to go knock it out. Secondly, our Foster Hartman waterline project over on the IRG property, just south on East Maple Street there. We opened bids here Friday morning at 11 a.m. Hoping to get a real good price. We've got a lot of plan holders. We've got like 8 already, so that's a good sign. It's a nice little project. And we'll see how that bid opening goes Friday.
Rob, I noticed the roads, you've been doing some sealing and sanding the edges. Is that the...
Yeah, what that was part of our paving program. What that is they come in, it's basically sealing the joint. Go where the new pavement is ground into the existing pavement, and they go with like a tar basically and seal that joint, and then they put like powdery sand on it just so the cars don't drag it everywhere. And they finished that on Saturday.
Looks good, thank you.
Yeah, it looks nice.
Rob, when are we going to get the new bids for the, I think it was the walking path and the tennis court?
Walking path and the tennis courts, those are things I'll bring legislation forward probably in December.
Okay.
The budget's approved or getting close to approved, and to rebid both of those projects.
Are we going to take the USTA off of the tennis courts?
Yes, I talked with our designer on that, and we could take that off.
That will save money?
That's a good idea. It should, because there's only one contractor, to my knowledge, in Northeast Ohio that has that.
Yeah.
And it's not a court for the U.S. Open or Wimbledon. It's not that we would accept lesser workmanship, but it would save us some money. Yeah.
Good, okay.
Thank you, Rob.
Steph, weren't you possibly looking into another use for that?
Pickleball. But that's just line drawing at the end.
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry?
No, it's real, it's nice.
Thanks, Rob. Director of Administrative Services.
No report.
Madam Clerk.
No report tonight.
No report.
Outstanding. Okay, November, December meeting schedule. There will be no meeting this Monday, November 20th. That'll be the week of Thanksgiving. We'll finish up November with a regular council meeting, November 27th. Organizational meeting to be determined. We'll come back to that. Then we'll have a committee meeting Monday, December 4th. And then a regular council meeting Monday, December 11th. Coming back to the organizational meeting, Dave, do you have?
Yeah, we're gonna send out a notice. I know we were getting a lot of input as far as when we're gonna be able to get, when everyone's going to be available, right? So we can send that out tomorrow. But we'll make sure everyone's gonna be there.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah, sounds great. All right, thank you very much. Now, what I need is a motion and a second to move into executive session regarding preparing and reviewing bargaining sessions with public employees concerning their compensation and other terms and conditions of their employment. Second.
Waring?
Yes.
Soretta?
Yes.
Foltz?
Yes.
Fontaine?
Yes.
Griffith?
Yes.
Kiesling?
Yes.
And Peters?
Yes.
7 yes to move into executive session.
All right, thank you. We are in executive session.
You're going in, right?
I'm on the list.
Yeah.
He's on the list.